Hi, I've decided that I would like to start making storytime videos. They're not going to be a lot of these videos because I don't really have much of life that I've lived for me to say many stories about my life, but you know, there should be a good enough amount. I don't know. These require very little editing and I'm probably going to do very little editing, so I just decided this would be my thing because I'm really lazy. That's my thing. Anyway, okay, so this particular story is from I thought I'd capture my essence and start talking about stories that are awkward and uncomfortable for me, because that's just me. But yeah, so this story was not that long ago. It was actually quite recently. It was when I first moved in here, and so yeah, and this story is actually the reason why when I made the video about the things that you should do before you go to uni, I said that you should research the place that you go to because it's really important. Yeah, so this is the origin story of it all. So basically what happened was, this was right at the beginning of uni, and I moved into my accommodation really early, and I had like 2 weeks where I wasn't doing any uni work. There was no uni events going on, no freshers week, no nothing. It was just 2 whole weeks of nothingness. And so during those whole weeks, I was cooking a little, I was doing a little of my own self, but then there was also that question of, crap, I don't have anything else. Like I didn't have anything else that I was doing, so I was like, let me just go home, because there were appliances that I didn't have. Like I took 75% of the stuff that I needed, but like the kettle and the toasters and stuff, I didn't bring them because on my application it was just like, don't bring these stuff, you can decide on buying them with your roommates. But I was one of the first people to move in, and then people came in later and later on, especially with like foreign students where they wanted to come in later on, so they're coming in just before the term starts. And so yeah, I was one of the first people to move in, and then after me, like, other people moved in. So I spent like a whole week without, well, not even a whole week, well, probably a whole week without tea or toasted bread, and I was like, I can't live this life. So I was like, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna buy some stuff and bring them back. And so I decided I would do that. So I was like packing my stuff to come back home, well, come back here. On my way there, I had very little stuff to pack, and I was like, okay, I'm fine. And then on the way back, I was like, I had quite a few things, and I was like, oh, I can either put this all in a hold haul where they all fitted, or I can put this in a luggage, which had wheels, which ironically could only take the same amount as a hold haul could. But anyway, so I was like, fine, I'll just put it in the luggage because it has wheels, and that way I'm not carrying anything with my complete lack of upper body strength. Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm putting this all in this luggage, and I was just dragging it along. And I was so excited about it because I was like, I think this was like the second time that I had gone from the station to my home. I still wasn't completely sure about the way, but I was like, I have a rolly luggage thing now, so at least that's not an issue. Like last time I was carrying a heavy bag, and I was trying to find my way, so it was just twice the problem. But now that I had this luggage, and I had a luggage and I could find my way, it's easy. Like it's literally just look at your phone, drag the bag along, it's fine. And so it was like 5 p.m-ish where like the evening rush hour starts, but the train that I got on the way here wasn't that busy, and it was usually the other trains that were busy. And so I was like, okay, it's fine. And this was like in September. This was in September. And so it was like, it wasn't that busy, the weather wasn't that bad, and I was like, this is a good day. And so I got off the platform, got onto the lift, and I was just standing in the lift like, yes, this was a good idea, I'm so glad about this. And so I just wheeled my little luggage off, and as soon as I got out of the station, I noticed that they had these like cobbled streets out the station, and I was like, what is this? Like, why do you have cobbled streets? And it wasn't something that I realised when I had my luggage, but it was when I had the hold all, or the last time that I came, because it wasn't something that affected me. But now I was like, oh crap. But I was like, it's cobbled streets, and these are like full-on chunky tyres, it will last. And so I just carried on driving over those, and it was like no issue. It made like such a loud noise though when I was driving. When I was just taking it over the cobbled things, it was making such a loud noise, and it was just like so hard to control as well. And I was like, oh, this is so pointless. And then once I got off the cobbled streets and I was just walking down the normal streets, the noise didn't seem to stop, and I was like, why is it still making the noise? But I still had my headphones in, and I could only hear the noise slightly, and I was just like, oh. But I could also notice in my arm as well, it felt like it was moving a lot less than it should have, and I was putting more force into this than I should be doing. And so I was like, let me just slyly kind of turn around, because this was still not too far from the station, and there were still people like swarming around me like bees, and I was like, let me just slyly turn around. I had no time to stop. I was still moving whilst I was turning around, and I noticed like one of the wheel clusters, like it was like these thick wheels, and I think there was like two of them on each side, and one of this cluster of two wheels had just completely broken off, and it was just like these two wheels on this side and nothing here. And I was like, what? And I was still stuck in this crowd, and I was like, frick. And I was like, I'm just gonna have to go. And I was going, and the crowd started to thin out a little bit more, and I was thinking, what am I gonna do? Because this box had no kind of strap for me to carry it, and I couldn't carry it anyway, because if I carried it by these little bullshit straps, handle thingies that they have, which I don't even know why they have that, it's like pointless. Like, I have no upper body strength, and it's all concentrated on this tiny little thing, and I'm just like, I'm not going to be able to do this. I should have just bought the hold all. But yeah, I still endeavoured, because I was like, I don't want to end up making this have a huge noise and all of that crap, and I kind of wanted to save it. I was just like, I know the tire's not there completely, but I could save this box. And so I was carrying it by its handles, and I was like, I'm fine, I can do this. And then when I carried it by its handles, I carried it across like 2 streets with it, and I was like, nope, I can't do it. I cannot do it. I cannot do it. And I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna take this. And first I was like, you know what, I know how to save this box. I will hold it at an angle so that just the cluster of tires that are still on there are being used. And the box was really heavy, but I was like tilting my arm, and I was doing this weird kind of this way drag along of the box, and I was dragging it along, and it was all fine, it was all working, and it was all great. And then after a while, I just completely given up, because my arm was like locking up, and I was like, nope. And I just resorted to dragging this box along, and it was making such a big noise. And it was like rush hour, and there was all these people in suits coming out of their offices, just looking at this kid who was just like dragging a box of his stuff through central London in traffic and running across streets with this box of his crap. And it was so heavy, and I was like, ugh. And I did get lost several times, and I was just like standing on street corners with my phone out, looking through Google Maps, like, where do I have to turn? What do I have to do with a box? And it was just so embarrassing for me, and I know that I turned super red at some point, but as soon as I got home, I was just like, no. And I put the box in that corner, so it's just in that corner over there. You can see the plastic bag on top of it. That's where the box is, because I was like, I didn't know where to get rid of the box, because I was like, I don't know how do you get rid of trash that big in central London? And I was like, you know what, you're just gonna stay in that corner until I can get rid of you, and I can watch you burn to death. But yeah, yeah, so that was one of my most embarrassing stories of this year, and I don't know why I did that. But yeah, if you liked the video of me being awkward and embarrassed, then this is the perfect place for you. Why don't you go ahead and subscribe? Because I do a lot of awkward, embarrassing things, and I just internally burped. But yes, I do a lot of awkward, embarrassing things, and this is the collective for it. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you some other time. Right now, I'm going to go to bed because I'm super tired and sleepy. Okay. Bye.